This is God's day. It's a good day. So let us rejoice. My name is Kim Gilliland. I'd like to welcome you one more time to our online worship here at Cottam United Church. And just a reminder, we do have in-person worship on Sunday morning at 10 o'clock in our sanctuary. You're welcome to join us. And last week, we began to have our fellowship time for the first time since COVID began. You're welcome to come down, have something to drink, have some goodies, and share some thoughts to get to know your neighbors again. You're welcome to do that. And also, I just want to let you know that on May 15th, 2 weeks from now, we will be having our anniversary worship, the first anniversary service we've had again since COVID began. And my good friend Orville James will be coming to share with us that message on that day. So if you can come on out, please come and welcome Orville and enjoy what he has to say. With that in mind, let's come to God. Come, let us lift up the name of the Lord, for God has lifted us. Come, let us bless the Lord, for God has blessed us abundantly. Come, let us worship the one who gives us life, for our every breath belongs to God. Would you pray with me, please? Let us pray. You, O God, are the source of all wisdom and knowledge and truth. We come to worship hoping to better learn how to appropriate your many blessings in life. Help us to truly appreciate the wonders of your love as we grow in faith day by day. Keep us from being distracted and deceived by clever words that would weaken our faith and impair our relationship with you. We desire to draw ever nearer to you, for you are the source of our hope. Your word is truth, and your message is love. We give you praise and honor and glory in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Well, last week we began to talk about the book of Revelation, my favorite book in the entire Bible, because if you know what's in the book of Revelation, you know everything. Because everything we need to know about our faith and about how to live it is found in the book of Revelation. We learned a few things about the book of Revelation as an introduction. We learned, first of all, that while John is the one who writes it down, he is a scribe, Jesus is the author. Jesus is the author of Revelation. John is just a scribe. These are Jesus' words, not John's words. The second thing we learned is that Revelation is an apocalypse. What's an apocalypse? It's not a terrible, horrible, devastating event like we've come to think of it in the 21st century, 22nd century. Rather, it is an unveiling, a revealing, a pulling back the curtain to see what's behind. Through Revelation, God reveals something special to the Christians of the 7 churches in Asia Minor, a revelation. The third thing we learned was the context of the book of Revelation. This is a time when Christians are beginning to experience persecution in the Roman Empire. The reason for that is because the Romans believed that Caesar was not just their ruler, Caesar was also a god. Caesar was divine. And as a divine God, he was worthy of worship. And to worship him, at least once a year, you had to take a bit of incense and throw that incense onto the fire on Caesar's altar. Not so hard to do if you're a Roman, because most Romans back then were polytheistic. They believed in many gods. And to have Caesar as one more god was just no big deal. But to Christians who are monotheistic, who believe in one God, it's a big problem because they cannot bow the knee to Caesar. That's what God does not want them to do. They can't do that. And so there's a problem. There was great pressure on the Christians to compromise, to bow the knee, to throw the incense into the fire. That would be the easy road. That would be the safe road. That would be the road of compromise. But Revelation is not written to compromisers. Revelation is written to overcomers. For to overcome is better than to compromise. For those who overcome stand firm in the faith, no matter what the consequences will be. They stand firm. The one you follow on earth is the one you follow into eternity. Do you follow Satan or do you follow Jesus? That's the message of Revelation. Who do you follow? For the one you follow on earth is the one you will follow into eternity. If you follow Jesus on earth, he will lead you into eternity in God's kingdom. But if you follow Satan on earth, he will lead you to the lake of fire. The world pressures us to compromise and follow the ways of the world, the ways of evil, the ways of Satan, and compromise. So choose. Make a choice. Be overcomers or be compromisers. Follow Satan, follow Jesus. It's your choice, but be careful because your choice has eternal consequences. Today, we're going to skip over to Revelation 5. In this chapter, John sees a scroll, and the scroll is beside the throne of God. And the scroll is sealed with 7 seals. And that's important because 7 in Hebrew numerology is a number of completeness. So to say that there are 7 seals means that the scroll is completely sealed. No one can see in it. It is completely hidden. It cannot be read. But what's in the scroll? I guess we'll find out. Let's begin with chapter 5, verse 2. And John writes this. And I saw a mighty angel proclaiming in a loud voice, "Who is worthy to break the seal and open the scroll?" They want someone to break the seals and open the scroll, but no one can be found. No one can be found who is worthy to break the seals and open the scroll. And John is so disconcerted by this that he begins to cry. He begins to weep because he wants to know what's in the scroll. Let's move to verse 5. Then one of the elders said to me, "Do not weep. See, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the Root of David, has triumphed. He is able to open the scroll and its 7 seals." John rejoices because the Lion can open the scroll. The Lion of Judah. Jesus is the Lion of Judah. Jesus is the Root of David. He can open the scroll. And John looks up expecting to see a lion, and when John looks to see the lion, he does not see a lion, rather he sees a lamb. Not a lion, but a lamb. Why a lamb? A lion is a powerful beast, the king of beasts, to be feared of all animals, but not the lamb. The lamb is a timid, powerless little creature. How can the lamb open a scroll? Why not the lion? There's good reason for that. But when the lamb appears, something wonderful happens. A chorus is shouted out by the 4 creatures. John says, and they sang in a new song, saying, "You are worthy to take the scroll and to open its seals, because you were slain, and with your blood you purchased for God persons from every tribe and language and people and nation." Do you begin to see where this is going? The Lamb is worthy to open the scroll because the Lamb was slain, and with the Lamb's blood, the people of earth were purchased for God. The Lion was not sacrificed for us. Jesus, as a Lamb of God, was sacrificed for us. The Lamb that was slain, who gave his life, who shed his blood for us. This is Jesus. The Lamb is the Lion, God incarnate, come to show us how to be and come to reconcile us to God again. The Lamb is worthy to break the seals and open the scroll. And a heavenly chorus now breaks out as the angels sing. John writes in verses 11 and 12, "Then I looked and heard the voice of many angels, numbering thousands upon thousands and 10,000 times 10,000. They encircled the throne and the living creatures and the elders. In a loud voice they were saying, 'Worthy is the Lamb who was slain to receive power and wealth and wisdom and strength and honor and glory and praise.'" The Lamb is worthy to break the seals. Let's break this down a little bit. Verse 11 says that the angels came, thousands upon thousands, 10,000 times 10,000. 10,000 times 10,000 is 100 million. But it's even more than that, because that is Hebrew numerology again, means all. All the angels, more than 100 million, all the angels in heaven are shouting this wonderful song of praise. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain to receive power and wealth and wisdom and strength and honor and glory and praise. Worthy is the Lamb. And now comes that 7 again, because he's worthy to receive what? He's worthy to receive power and wealth and wisdom and strength and honor and praise and glory. 7 things. 7 is a number of completeness. The Lamb is worthy to receive all things. All things belong to the Lamb. The Lamb is worthy to receive them all. Why? Because he's a sinless, spotless sacrifice, the Lamb who was slain for us. The angels have sung their praise, and now the earthly creatures join in verses 13 and 14. John says, "Then I heard every creature in heaven and on earth and under the earth and on the sea, and all that is in them, all creatures, saying, to him who sits on the throne and to the Lamb, be praise and honor and glory and power forever and ever. And the 4 living creatures said, Amen. And the elders fell down and worshipped." All creatures praise the Lamb that was slain, whose blood was shed for us. The Lamb is responsible for creation. That's why they all praise him. They praise their Maker. And people sometimes get that mixed up. People think that in the Trinity that the Father is the agent of creation. It's not. The Father was at creation, certainly as God. But if you read John chapter 1, verse 3, it says this, talking about the Word of God who is Christ. "Through him all things were made. Without him nothing was made that has been made." It is Christ who is the agent of creation, the maker of all creation. The Father was there, the Spirit was there, but it was Christ's work that made creation happen. This explains to us why he can open the scroll. We wonder what's going to be in the scroll, and because he can open it, it tells us what's in the scroll. In Roman tradition, the only person who could open a title deed was the owner. Jesus, as the agent of creation, is the owner of creation. This scroll is not any plan for creation, as John once thought it was. Rather, it is a title deed of creation. Jesus can open this sealed scroll because he owns creation. It is his. The Lion who became the Lamb that was slain is the owner of all creation. But creation is filled with sin. The owner of creation will come and sweep the sin away and make it holy again. Ultimately, this tells us that Jesus wins. He will reclaim what is his. He will do that. He has done that. The Lion who turned into a lamb that was slain is worthy. All creatures in heaven, on earth, shout his praise and sing his glory, and it ends by the elders and the living creatures saying Amen and falling down to worship him. What a story. The imagery is captivating. You can't help but to be drawn to it and what it says to us when we understand it. But what does it mean to us? How does it impact our lives? Well, one of the key points is that the scroll has to be open. And although the Lion is called, it is not the Lion who opens the scroll, rather it is the Lamb, who can break the seals, open the scroll, and reclaim the creation which he has made. Why is that? Well, the lion is a powerful being, a powerful creature, the king of beasts. But the lamb that was slain rules nothing, is powerless, scares no one. The lamb gave himself as a sacrifice. And that's the key part here. The lion did not have something that the lamb has. What the lamb did was sacrifice himself. The lion didn't do that. The lamb, Jesus as the Lamb of God, saved the world by sacrificing himself on the cross. His shed blood saves us and redeems us to God again. Sacrificial love is key. The power of the lion cannot break the seals, but the sacrificial love of the lamb can. Do you see how that works? The sacrificial love of Jesus reconciles us and makes us new. Ultimately, I'll say it again, Jesus wins. Do not forget that. We see that in many places in our world sometimes. I'm going to go back to Ukraine and talk about this. It's a perfect example. Ukraine, we know the story, invaded by one of the most powerful military forces in the world, Russia. And yet, the people of Ukraine have stood defiantly against that invasion and have done which the world did not think they could do. They have resisted and they have not fallen. They have stood defiantly, united as one. Why? Because they're powerful? Well, they're not powerless, to be true. They do have a well-trained military force and a substantial one, but it is no match, on paper anyway, for the right military might of Russia. The people of Ukraine have a secret weapon, and that secret weapon is this. It is sacrifice. They are willing to do whatever it takes to defeat the oppressor, the aggressor, the tyrant. Whatever it takes, they will do that to defend themselves, their families, their nation, their homeland, their children. And so they stand defiantly until they hold the earthly title to the deed of their earthly home. They keep what is theirs. Sacrifice is winning out over power in Ukraine, and we rejoice. And we wish them all the best. And we support them with our prayers. And as a nation, we've supported them in other ways too, and I'm so glad of that. Power is a powerful thing, but power, we've discovered, on its own is limited. It cannot prevail. Jesus shows, however, that those who sacrifice will win, and they will recover what is rightfully theirs, as does Jesus on the cross. And this is true not only of nations, it's also true of us as people. Too many people like power. Too many people have fallen to the lie that power is important and you get what you want if you have more power. And there is some truth to that. The rich and the powerful do have more influence and they can buy what they want. There is some truth to that. But what they gain through power and through wealth will someday come to an end. It will cease to be. And particularly ill-gotten gain will wither on the vine. It will fail and be overcome by the Lamb. Because ultimately, Jesus wins. The message for us is that power will not last, but love will. Sacrificial love lasts eternally. So we make a choice. Do we try to live by power, or do we try to live by love? Be careful how you choose, because that choice too has eternal consequences. Last week we talked about choices. Satan or Jesus. Compromise or overcome. Important choices. This week, the choice is between sacrificial love and power. Now, the irony of this is that the power is best seen in sacrificial love. Sacrificial love ultimately is the only power, because power without sacrificial love is no power at all, as Jesus shows us. That sacrificial love enables us to overcome when the world calls us to compromise. Jesus demonstrates this on the cross. Revelation tells us that Jesus is both lion and lamb. We don't have two Christs. We have one who is seen in the lion and in the lamb. They come together. And the beauty of this incredible imagery is that it is through the lamb, the sacrificial lamb, that the lion is able to powerfully roar. It is because Jesus gave himself on the cross that he has the power to redeem us and draw us back to God one more time and restore creation to the way it was always created to be. And so we make a choice. Do we choose power or do we choose sacrificial love? How do we live? Which way do we live? What ultimately guides our path? Power or sacrificial love? And again, choose carefully, because this choice too has eternal consequences. Thanks be to God. Amen. Would you pray with me, please? Let us pray. Your glory, O God, shines from the heavens. Your spirit fills the earth. Your love reflects from the hearts of believers to nourish the world around us. Thank you for the opportunities to minister that come our way. Thank you for the guidance that you provide, sometimes in very surprising ways. How can we ever count our blessings? How can we adequately speak of your love, which is so far beyond our understanding? Still, you call us to do such things, and you equip us for this ministry. How great and wonderful you are, full of mercy and grace and love. Regardless of the circumstances that arise in our lives, we will choose to have a thankful attitude, acknowledging the good things that you have done. We lift up in prayer our political leaders as they seek to guide our nation through interesting times. Our prayers are for all leaders, local, provincial, federal. May they always seek to govern out of concern and for the good of all people. We also pray for the people of Ukraine as they seek peace and justice in the face of tyranny and oppression. And we lift up in prayer the sick of our congregation and community. We remember especially Carol and Mark and John and Ron. We do not profess to know what healing always means. Only you know that, O God. And we would ask you to help us to see the healing when it happens and to give thanks for all things. O Holy One of Israel, we desire that every word that we speak, every decision that we make, every action that we take, and even the motives and intents of our hearts would declare our commitment to faithfully have a relationship with you and with one another, that we may overcome in a world of compromise. Enable us to be like you to the very best of our ability, so that your kingdom may be known and your love shared. We pray all of this in Jesus' holy name. Amen. Well, thank you one more time for joining us for our worship. We look forward to seeing you again. Until we do, go in peace and God bless. Amen.